Hi again. I am recording this video because I didn't get to complete my thoughts or to tidy my thoughts about Sons of Val, and it's not a review as such. It's a just, I guess it's a review in a sense that it's my own point of view. But I think a review is you're going to look at all different types, all aspects of the play, but that's not what I'm doing. I'm just sharing my opinions and my thoughts, my take on the play, and any other thing that I want to say about this whole play and the playwright and everything else to do with that. So anyway, I talked about the actors mainly because I was very impressed with the acting skills of the cast. Alrighty, what you doing? So yeah, anyway, Sons of Val, I was glad I went. I thought that the script was very, very professionally done. Of course, I'm thinking these are people on top of the game. Of course, they're going to try and pull it off and keep the audience, take the audience with them with this developing story, the plot line, and that's incredibly difficult to do, I guess, on stage and just with just 4 actors on. So they interspersed it. They had a lot of what do they call it? Is it a soliloquy? No. I'm mixing myself up here, forgetting my stuff. But the narrator that kept the story moving is the eldest son, who's played by Hans Favai, Niuean boy. Very, very experienced guy. I mean, I can see he's a hard worker. Gosh, it takes a lot of effort and time and energy to, get into a role. And he's been doing acting work for, I guess, his whole life, I would say. And good on him. I was impressed with just the sheer effort and work behind it. And it, you have to have a certain belief in yourself that you're an actor and you get up there on stage and deliver and give what the audience are there to get. So well done. I don't have any bad thing to say about them. I guess it's just me. I didn't have good enough rest, and there are times that I felt the script felt a little bit flat at times, that I was dropping off to sleep, but not my sister who was beside me, who was chuckling the whole way through, which is good on her. She's a normie, so she's completely going to be locked in, and I mean I was too, but nah, good for her. She really thoroughly enjoyed herself, and I did too. Things of note, I think when you go and see a piece of art, like you go and go to the art gallery, and what the artists, when they put up their pictures, their artwork, you extrapolate for yourself, how the piece of work affects you, and it's the same with this piece of artwork that is called Sons of Val that Vela has put out. And there were a lot of moments where I had paused to reflect on my own relationship with my father, and because that's the premise of the story, and it's centered around the man who is a type of Vela's dad, Vela Manasoti being the playwright. And sorry, and my thoughts are now all over the place. I looked I did a search on YouTube. I don't know if it's just my own YouTube, but there was not much that I could find on YouTube about Sons of Val, but I did come across something that I think it was 2021 that Vela had already done this play. So he did talk about it being years in the making, but this is like the big time because the Auckland theatre company has thrown its resources behind it this time. So I guess it's a coup for him to get the backing of the theatre company, the Auckland Theatre Company, and getting them on board was like a big thing. Because anyway, so it's a script that's been there for a while, but I think for them to take it and put it up. Whee! They have people pay money and come and watch it. So, what else? Yeah. So I had some thoughts about my dad. I missed out on mentioning about the whole poverty thing because in the last video I had, because the poverty caused the mother to, I think there was a reference to stealing meat to feed the family, and the kids stole milk money to buy snacks or food. But I mean, that's the story of a lot of people in this city at the moment, especially going through tough times, and you have little ones in the family, and sometimes, you know, people have done that to survive. I'm not judging. I think that, okay, it's a drag on the business when you have people steal, but if you look at it another way, okay, maybe write it off as your charity donation. Sorry, that's a bit, I mean, I haven't owned a retail store to know what it feels like for people to steal from me. But anyway, poverty was an aspect that was dealt with. I also didn't mention that the religion was a thing also from in the play, because there were a few references to Jesus, to God, and praying, and the futility of praying to God. And this man is not changed. He's still the same. He's still, you know, in his, I would say, villain era, because yeah, he was a terrorist in his own home, just raising hell and putting so much. It was a terrifying experience for the children growing up in that household. I mean, I know what that feels like, because I grew up in a similar setup with my own father, who struggled with his own addiction to alcohol. And I mean, no disrespect to our dad, who in the last, I would say the last 15 odd years, I've done a bit of a full circle in a way. Like, I've come to appreciate my dad and really recognize the sacrifices that he went through, and the struggles that he had gone through. Appreciate that from a fellow parent's point of view, that he had 7 mouths to feed, and then laterally in his life we had the last born, but throughout his 20s and 30s he was he was full on in dad mode, working, going to the bush, going to the sea, and just, I guess, the pressure of being a man to feed your family, house and feed your family, was there. But being a creative, I think that's a bit of a bent of creatives, that they get into addictions. I think, I don't know, correct me, because my dad was just very talented. He was a talented musician. He went to Fiji, trained to read music for 3 months. He was there. He came back, and he was able to take hymn books and just played it on the organ that he had borrowed from the church, and it had sat there. Nobody played the organ. He brought it home, and he just read the music and played the organ, and we got to sing, and he made us sing all these songs. One of the first ones he did was Abide With Me. He played that, read the music for it, played it. Immortal, Invisible, Immortal, Invisible. Okay, we're not going to try and sing that, but there were many songs that he sung and played and sung, and he taught different songs, picked up different music books from wherever, and played it, taught it to kids at school, because he was a teacher. So I think yeah, anyway, I'm just a little bit all over the place, but my point is that I had you know, I always think about my father, but that Vela had honed in on focusing this whole play on his dad, a type of dad, like Val himself, and it was all around it. Even the explanatory notes in the booklets that we got given, that you know, he was trying to resolve and heal his himself from the trauma and the terror that was inflicted on him as a child by his dad. And I mean, it's whenever you come across a figure like that, a father figure, an authority figure in your life, it's so layered and complex. It's just so many aspects to it. Because this is your parent, and you feel a sense of loyalty to them, and you love them, and yet they've got this other better turn this car off. A very confronting thing about them, right? You love them, but they've got this other awful side to them that you just have to deal with. And yeah, 10 minutes already. Okay, so yeah, the art piece of artwork that these guys put on, I think it's also meant to learn. You learn from them. What is it, didactic, when you put on a piece of art to teach the masses something, to bring a lesson or a message. And it's cathartic also for the playwright, for the person who's made the artwork. But and it also helps us, the audience, the viewers, the participants in the story with the playwright, to reflect and personalize those messages and just not apply, not the word, that you reflect for your own self what the themes of the play is touching on. So that's what happened. So because I went with my sister, and we have got the shared experience of having this amazing father, Freihead, as our father, and he was an amazing guy in so many ways. And yes, I guess through the lens of dimmed by time, I think. No, I don't take any of the violence and the trauma they suffered. I don't lessen that. But I think as an adult, I have grown to understand our father better, and have a lot more grace, forgiveness, and mercy on him. Don't you hate it when you park up and people park so close, and you know when that door opens, unless they're very careful, they're gonna hit your car? And what are you gonna do? Have an argument with them? Because I've done that in the past, in my villain era. But yeah, anyways, I say anyways a lot, and that's just such a horrible filler word, but there we go. So yeah, that's my take. It's not a review of Sons of Vow as such. It's just my thoughts. The other thing that I thought about going to watch it and thinking about the playwright, he's married to the co-director, or the director, who is Annapella. I can't say it polite. I wouldn't even attempt to say her last name, but Annapella, who's the actor in Tina, which I will get around to seeing at some time, because I was told off by my sister, why haven't you watched Tina? You should. It's on for Netflix now. Okay, I'm going to. I just didn't get around to watching it on the big screen when it was there. But I don't know. This is just my guess that Annapella's fame and her achievements have just sort of rubbed off in a way with this piece of artwork, this work that Vela had written many years ago, that has brought it to the screen. Now, I'm not going to accuse anybody that this is like, but that's how contacts work, and that's how the world works by contacts, works by, you know. So I feel like the reputation of Annapella has helped catapult this or the really the what do you call it? They helped it to bring it to the big stage. I mean, I wouldn't say big stage, but it's like a big stage for this city and this country. The Auckland Theatre Company, they just don't pick any old people, any old person with a script to put on a play. So they put their big resources behind the play, and I mean, a lot of people, I don't know whether it was sold out, but a lot of people went, We had a full night on Saturday, 14 minutes. So that neck. Yeah, so that's my take. I think the overall feeling I got was just a reflection on our own dad, and I think that those contradictions about having a father figure that's so broken and so messed up like that, it's very difficult to bring across in a sympathetic way. But in a way, I felt a bit of sympathy, because that's just what island men were like back in the day, right? They just had what they had, and they did what they could, and they did. They got into alcohol and the destruction that comes from that, and mixed that in with some mental illness stuff, and you've got a concoction that's just terrible for the children growing up in these homes. And I mean, I speak as somebody who comes from a background of alcohol addiction and family violence, all of that stuff. It was in our history, my siblings and I mean, I myself could write a play or a book, and that's probably something that's still in me, God willing that it will happen. But again, just to try to communicate those ideas in 1.5 hours, and you got to be very choosy and selective with your script and your words, because you don't have an hour and a half to condense this whole lives into that amount of time. It's very difficult. So I think I just admire the people who put on these big plays, and I admire that you know, somebody like Vela, who's a creative. And I guess this goes to all creatives. When you put out a piece of your work out there, it's a piece of yourself, and you're going to be so sensitive about it, and it's just very it's a vulnerable place to be, that you put yourself out there. But it takes so much courage and so much courage to do it, and you'll be rewarded when you do something out of courage. People recognize it. And so those are my thoughts. 17 minutes. Wow, if you lasted all this time, kudos to you. So that's the take for now. I think if any of the people behind the play ever gets to watch this, I hope you know, did a good job, great job. I'm parked outside KFC, and sometimes there are people who sit out here and beg, and I just can see a guy who is heading off to go and, I guess, oh no, he's gone past his spot where he sets himself up. Do you give money to people who beg? Or do you give money and food? I'm not going to say that I'm gonna lose my reward, but I actually do, because of saying it. I do. I buy food and I give money to people, and there are people who are like, why are you doing that for? Like, they can get up and go and get a job, whatever. Like, who cares? All right, if you have an opportunity to if you have what you have and you can bless somebody, why not? Right? I mean, I think about knowing all of the thoughts that people have. I'm going on a bit of a tangent here from my little review, but I just am outside a place where people do sit here and beg. That when Jesus said, if you did it to the least of these my brethren, you're doing it to me. So I think about that, like, regardless of all the the sayings that people say, I'm not going to give my money. I'm not. You got a pimp somewhere. Somebody's collecting this money from you. You're working for a head pimp somewhere. No, it's just okay. That person obviously is not in a good place in their life. Otherwise, they wouldn't be there. So you might as well show a little bit of kindness to people. So really, I think that's really what it is for me. And it's not like a pity thing. Like no, it's just recognizing that you're sitting there and somebody pays you some attention, and you feel okay. A little, a human, another human cares. Anyway, that's my rant. I had a long sleep today because I went to work last night, and I'm just here to pick up a drink because I just really got me some food. That's all. Take care, everybody. Hope you get good fat sleeps in your life. Lots. Stay hydrated and try and go for a walk. That's my advice, and that's me. Okay, bye.